Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero, and welcome back to Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. So, this is the final round of the Iron Plate tournament. This is presumably the hardest or the highest difficulty tournament I've done so far. The only thing is that I have to kind of throw out giant air quotes for that because this has been actually quite easy. The only thing that's really thrown me a little bit for a loop so far has been the fact that the sort of anime cutoffs, or whatever you want to call it, that this game is notorious for, whenever a player does a special move or anything like that, is actually disabled. And other than that, the opponents really haven't been all that difficult. I've ironically faced off against two Rukaku Chu guys, and hasn't really been any sort of common theme between them. I guess the opponents here are just completely random. Because I remember when I did try sort of like a test run to see what it was like, just so I can get a feel for my opponent was, and see if I can maybe talk a little bit about that. I actually did some research on my soon-to-be opponent, but then he turned out to not be my opponent when I did it for real, so that was all really weird. But in any case, let's talk a little bit about some tennis. So I haven't really been able to play this year. I moved from Florida last year, towards the end of last year, so now in this new year I really haven't been able to play Florida, and that's partly because of the usual thing, it being, you know, I only really play tennis during the summer or spring months, sometimes a little bit in the fall, sometimes a little bit in the winter, depending on how, you know, how bad global warming is doing. But I haven't really had the chance to do that this year. In addition, I even sometimes do some practice at the handball courts in my nearby public park. I usually go and, you know, just bounce the ball against a wall just to get some sort of swings in, you know, some sort of practice, something, right? But I haven't really been able to do any of that. Aside from a couple of like life-related things, there's also the entire sort of world-related thing that apparently I don't know if I'm allowed to mention by name, but that kind of makes things kind of difficult, although it shouldn't technically affect it. But the parks should be, I believe, closed for the most part, so I don't think I would be able to even attempt to do that, right? But regardless of that, one of the main issues that I've been dealing with has been that I've injured my left shoulder. So I've actually injured it, as of right now, it's supposed to be a year almost, but I think it's like 7 months, 8 months or so since I've hurt my shoulder. But I hurt it sometime in Florida trying to work out. As I mentioned before, I was in really bad shape, right? And often what would happen is I was in just self-esteem wise, I was just in a miserable mental state. So I would try and pick myself up by trying to work out or like do all these kinds of things maybe that I was able to do and all that kind of stuff. So then one day I was, you know, in my stride of trying to get into better shape and whatnot, and, you know, I was starting to hit the weights at home and whatnot, but I decided to do a chest workout. I was doing, I guess it was chest flies on the ground because I don't have a bench at home, and I believe I was working from home, so it's not like I could have just gone to the gym at that time because I was supposed to be working. So what I ended up doing was just doing it on the ground because I needed a way to work out my chest that wasn't push-ups, because I actually couldn't even do push-ups. That's how bad I was physically, because aside from all the other things that I talked about in a previous video, I also had some sort of muscle atrophy where my muscles were just shit. So weight and stuff that I was able to do before, I just could not. So on top of my muscles being weaker and myself just weighing so much more than I'm used to, it was really difficult for me to even get into a push-up position and actually do some push-ups. So I wanted to sort of have a well-rounded body workout, so I tried doing chest flies as an alternative, right? But again, since my muscles were so atrophied, I was really having a hard time, doing anything with the weights. And what ended up happening is because of that, feeling so weak, I let my ego sort of get the best of me because I was just so angry. I was just like, no, like, I'm not this fucking weak, bro. Like, just fucking do the exercise or whatnot. So rather than going a long way, like putting the weights towards my chest and standing up, what I did was I kind of just placed them on the side sort of lazily, like a chump, thinking like, fuck it, I don't have to do all this struggling and getting up, because even getting up from the ground was really difficult for me. Like, I was in horrible shape, where getting up, like, there were times where, like, I don't know, my dog would like spill water from his water bowl, and I would have to go and clean it up, and like bending down was the worst thing. Like, I could not. Tying my shoes was impossible. That's how bad in shape I was. And I don't even know if shape is really the way to say it. It wasn't just because, I was being lazy and not working out. It was just, because of the medication and whatnot, and how bloated and swollen I was all the time. It was just, everything was extremely difficult to do. But because of that, I didn't want to actually get up and have to be all gross, making all these noises while I'm trying to work out. So I just kind of laid the weights down in a very bad, awkward position. And I ended up tearing something, spraining or tearing something in my shoulders. I don't know what it is. I've gone to an orthopedist, I believe is how you say that, but the doctor for, your muscles and joints. And he's done an x-ray. He did a MRI, which apparently I've learned I'm claustrophobic, and I don't like MRIs, but he did that on my shoulder. And then shortly after that, he told me, I went to go see him for the results, and he told me he doesn't really know what the hell is going on. He says apparently I have some sort of arthritis on my shoulder, but he's like, well, that doesn't make sense. You're not, 50 years old or anything like that. So I was like, yeah, no, that obviously doesn't make any damn sense. But most commonly, I thought it was just a rotator cuff issue. Is it B? Or is it, it must be these? What the, just do the, I don't understand. Why is he not doing the special? Huh. That's weird. Alright, maybe I have to go reset my buttons or something later on. But anyways, he doesn't know what the hell is wrong with me. So that doesn't really inspire confidence in, my doctor. But also doesn't help me in any way, shape, or form. The only thing he told me is that it's not a rotator cuff issue, because he said my rotator cuff looks fine. And that's basically, once you have a shoulder issue, that's kind of like the first thing. Oh, okay, it's the top buttons. That's kind of like the first thing you immediately think it is. And I was even preemptively doing rotator cuff exercises before that. But I was sort of able to do it more easily than I thought I was. So that's why for the most part, I didn't think that that's what it was. I still kind of think it is something related to that, because rotating is an issue. But it's sort of this weird muscle that I've found after my girlfriend was sort of massaging my shoulder and my back because I was in pain. And she was just doing that, and we kind of found the spot where it hurts. And it ironically, because what usually happens is I won't get a pain on like my shoulder, I'll actually get a pain on like my bicep. And we found that when she presses the part that hurts, that feels really weird in the back of like near my tricep and shoulder, when she presses that, like my bicep, the area where I would usually feel the pain, kind of moves on its own, which is really fucking freaky. But in any case, that's sort of what I've been dealing with lately. I've been trying to sort of heal from that. I did manage to, go to physical therapy at the very least, and I felt like that was really helping, even though they weren't really doing much. I just got like a maybe 10-minute, 10-minute burp, 10-minute massage on my shoulder area, and then I would get like an electrical massage with, when they put like the things on you and then the shocks are supposed to massage you. So I would get that for the 20 minutes, and then we would do some exercises for my shoulder. That I felt like all that was really helping, but I feel like I needed it a lot more and a lot more consistently. Like I was only doing 2 times a week because that's all I was really allowed to do. Had I done that maybe 4 times a week and for maybe longer or something like that, I think it probably would have been real effective and I would have been in much better shape. But in any case, I haven't really been doing exercises to help my shoulder. I haven't really been exercising at all, or at least not entirely. What I've been doing is I've actually been doing fitness boxing on the Switch. Fitness boxing is a game on the Switch where you essentially take Joy-Cons and you hold them in your fist as if you were boxing. And basically it's like a fitness rhythm game. They'll show and tell you punches to do, and you'll do them, and you have to do them in timing with like a rhythm game kind of thing. It'll, clock up on the screen and whatnot. So it'll do that. And it's a really good workout. I've been doing that a lot. I've actually even been streaming it over on Twitch every now and then, early in the mornings before work. And that's actually gotten me in pretty decent shape. I've lost 5 pounds. As I said, I was at like 214. And from 214, when I moved back to New York from Florida, I managed to thankfully get it all the way down to around 200 pounds. So I lost about 14 pounds just from walking in Florida. And then between being more active here in New York, eating better, not being on medications and all that kind of stuff, maybe a little bit of exercise, walking my dog and stuff as much as I can, I managed to lose another 10 pounds, which is great. So at that point, I've lost 24 pounds. And then now recently, trying to do fitness boxing a little bit more regularly, and I checked the scale recently, and I'm actually now down to 185, which is great. So I've lost 29 pounds since my disgusting, unfortunate predicament, which is pretty good. I feel a lot better, but it's really sort of complicated when it comes to my shoulder because I don't know if it's helping or hurting. Because when you do punches, you have to use your shoulder. So for a lot of them, I kind of do awkward motions where I try not to use my shoulder as much. But even a little bit I can get in, sometimes I'll go in too far and I'll hurt my arm a little bit for that second and I'll get a sharp pain. But then afterwards, sometimes my joints will be like really sore from the workout, and then my shoulder in general will just be like hard pain, like constantly. But I think since I've been doing it a lot, I was worried that was like damaging my shoulder more. But I kind of was a dumbass and I ignored my body and I kept doing it. For once, I think that actually worked out because, in general, my shoulder doesn't feel as bad. I still have the pain, it still makes weird crickety noises when I move it, stuff like that. But in general, it's a lot better. And then even in the boxing, afterwards, it doesn't hurt as much. So I think if I keep doing the boxing and then maybe do a combination of some sort of physical therapy of my own, trying to see if I can get maybe the machine to massage it itself, or maybe myself massage it with some warmth, and then doing some of the exercises myself as often as I can. I think if I combine all of that, I might actually be able to finally heal up my shoulder, which would be nice. In general, it doesn't really affect my performance in tennis all that much because it is my left shoulder. So that really only means that throwing up the ball for serve sometimes is uncomfortable, but even that I was generally able to do because actually playing tennis with this bad arm in Florida, the last time I took the classes over there, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. So in any case, haven't played any TLDR, haven't played any tennis. Shoulder's been fucked up, but it's getting better now. And we've managed to defeat our opponent here, whose name I do not remember, but it means that we've won the Iron Plate Singles Tournament. I'm gonna try and see what the next tournament is. Like I said, I've written down all of the tournaments that are in the game and what you get for using certain characters to unlock them and whatnot. Like I remember there was the GameFAQs forum, or forum post, not even like an official guide. It was a forum post because this game is so niche that was all it was. And it was just like the like 10 people in the world that have ever played this game were just commenting there, trying to talk about the game, or at least the American ones, or not American, but the English-speaking ones, because the game is in Japanese, so we don't know what the fuck how to like research stuff. If like the game tells you how to unlock stuff, we don't fucking know, right? Because we can't read Japanese, unfortunately. So everyone was kind of like gathering like, oh, if you do this, you get this character. We're not sure how to get this character. So I stopped by there and I kind of like took a bunch of the unlocks and I split that up into series or seasons. And then this is, I think, season 4. Even I took a huge break in between. But yeah, I've done that. I think I did that up to like season 6 or 5. One of those two, I just unlock everything. Because I think 6 is empty. They were just a couple of things that I wanted to do. But then 5, I think I had a couple more tournaments. And I would unlock everything. And then somewhere between 5 and 4, I would pretty much have everyone. And then looking back on it, our roster is pretty hella full. I don't think I can skip this. Nope. I think I can hold A to make it go faster. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we got anything for that. We're actually going to get... Oh, right. We got Inui. That's right. I remember that. So we're going to get Inui as our character. But if we were to just take a look... You haven't seen this menu in a long time, I bet. Because I typically cut these parts out unless I have something particular to show. But you can see here we've done quite a lot of tournaments. Next up is probably going to be this tournament here. Well, let's just go ahead and jump into it quickly. You can see here we got a pretty full roster. I think I'm missing one person from here. Missing quite a couple of the characters from here. Hyotez I'm missing a lot. Yamabuki, I think I need 2 more. Saint Rodolphe, I think I got everyone. And Fudahime, I think I'm just missing 1 or 2 people. So, got a good amount of people. I've got maybe like 7, 8 more players to unlock. Not counting the coaches, because the coaches an issue in their own right. But, yeah. Anyways, I rambled on for long enough. Take care of yourself.